Making slow but steady progress.
Sounds appalling.
Does it?
Sounds absolutely dreadful.
I thought you were quite approving of my new venture last week.
I think you're wandering around, munching on vegetables grown in your own shit.
Which is perhaps why they're growing so well.
No wonder there's a fetid aroma in the air.
You're still coming round?
I'll be there. I'll be there. Now, one last thing, Nathaniel.
Yes.
That you might be interested in. I've got a definition of a word for you here.
Oh, here we go.
Are you ready for this?
I do.
Here we go. Lash. Definition 1. A stroke or blow with or as if with a whip. We both agree on that one.
We agree on that one.
Definition 2. To secure or bind as with a rope, cord or chain. Ergo, lash to a chair means to secure or bind with a rope to a chair. Bang to rights, Nathaniel.
Where's your source? Is it the Mencap Handbook?
That is from thefreedictionary.com, so it's got to be right.
Oh, absolutely. What a valid source that must be.
Got to be right. It's something of a coincidence, though. You must admit that I thought that's what the word meant, and thefreedictionary.com also thinks that's what it means.
Yes, it means that you're both worthless entities.
I'll tell you what it shows, Nathaniel,
What's
is
that?
the difference between a private education and a state education.
Oh, don't get us on that one.
That's what it means. That's what it demonstrates to me, Nathaniel.
It demonstrates to me that you're a blind idiot.
You rubbing shoulders with filth and peasants.
Well,
no idea of the value of the English language. Off collecting conkers and rolling around in mud like pigs.
Well, I can't deny that.
What was I doing? I was learning how to speak English correctly with a flawless, accent-free voice. You're an idiot.
You're doing some rolling around of your own by the sounds of it.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Right, and folks, this is the part of the show where we discuss upcoming releases and general Hollywood movie news. When Disney pulled the plug last month on Gore Verbinski-directed, Johnny Depp-starring cowboy actioner The Lone Ranger, we thought that would be the last we heard of it. Alas, no, as it seems the movie is back in pre-production with a December 2012 date penciled in for release. Hi-ho, Silver! Please go away. Hardcore sci-fi fans certainly have something to look forward to, as Fox Studios announced they are to begin work on an adaptation of Isaac Asimov's The Caves of Steel. Just as long as Brandon Routh is nowhere to be seen, we'll certainly be awaiting this one with interest.
If proof were needed that the cinema-going public are dribbling imbeciles, this week it has been announced that the last Resident Evil movie was successful enough to justify yet another sequel, Resident Evil Retribution. What number is this? Frankly, we've lost count. Alex Dark City Prius is working on an adaptation of classic Milton poem Paradise Lost. With some decent artwork revealed and a cast that so far includes Perma Smile Bradley Cooper and the other Affleck, this could go either way, but Prius has earned enough credit for this to be mildly titillating. Right folks, time to kick around our thoughts and opinions on this week's movie on current release, and this week it's Warrior. An overview for you. Two brothers face the fight of a lifetime, and the wreckage of their broken family within the brutal high-stakes world of mixed martial arts. An ex-Marine haunted by a tragic past, Tommy Reardon returns to his hometown of Pittsburgh and enlists his father, a recovered alcoholic, and his former coach to train him for an MMA tournament awarding the biggest purse in the history of the sport. As Tommy blazes a violent path towards the title prize, his brother Brendan, a former MMA fighter unable to make ends meet as a public school teacher, returns to the amateur ring to provide for his family. Even though years have passed, recriminations and past betrayals keep Brendan bitterly estranged from both Tommy and his father. But when Brendan's unlikely rise as an underdog sets him on a collision course with Tommy, the two brothers must finally confront the forces that tore them apart. all the while waging the most intense winner-takes-all battle of their lives. Have you seen it, Richard?
I have seen it indeed, yeah, a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts.
Oh, these are men, Nathaniel. These are men. Oh. Not the scrawny little arse warts like the ones that you go out on dates with. These are proper men.
Proper men, yeah.
Did you see the state of them?
I did see the state of them, of course. I must have bloody filmed you with you.
Blimey. Blimey.
They were rugged sorts, I'll grant you that.
I've never seen shoulders like them. Never, they were like bison.
You weren't getting strange titillating moments again, were you? Like you
I was simply in the same way as a man might admire a fabulous, sleek sports car. It was no different.
You
no
were
different.
Get Statham, weren't you? Admit it.
Well,
Jason Becker, weren't you?
Jason Statham, we've never actually discussed on here, and I think we need to wait until you know, we get an appropriate movie until we unleash that on the public, because we've got wildly opposing views on Statham.
I'm glad you're speaking for me on that one, but okay.
They were fabulous to look at, weren't they?
There we go. Yes, that's what they were.
They were marvellous. Tommy, have you ever known a character like Tommy in a movie?
Vaguely similar, I would suggest.
Where? Give me one example.
Well, he's hardly Blake the Mole kind of character, isn't he? I mean, he's a quiet military man with a sense of mystery. Wow.
He's an enigma.
Okay. And?
He's mysterious. He's the dark-haired stranger, man of few, built like a brick shithouse. He was remarkable.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it for the aesthetics, Richard.
Now, on a contrary point, Joel Edgerton as Brother Brendan, I've got to say, one of the least convincing teachers I've ever seen on screen. He made Michelle Pfeiffer seem plausible in that movie where she's teaching all the blacks.
I haven't seen that one.
Dangerous Minds. Nathaniel, are you awake?
Yes, I'm waiting for your further comments, Richard.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna chip in.
No, I just fallen asleep.
There were positive messages throughout here, Nathaniel. Positive messages. Don't drink. It will ruin your boxing career.
Yeah.
Don't go AWOL from the army. Don't go into work with a black eye. And pump weight so hard, you end up with a neck like a buffalo.
Yeah, fantastic morals to pass on.
What did you think of it, Nathaniel? You've been remarkably quiet on this so far.
Well,
save for contradicting every single sentence that I utter.
Well, that's because I thought it was utter shit. Worst current movie we've reviewed to date so far, Richard, on the current movie slot that we do.
Never.
My hopes weren't high, and given all the hype that this film has received and all the rave reviews, it's never a good signal. But that's storyline. I mean, how more contrived could it get? Two estranged brothers, both down on their luck, coming together to fight in the final of a tournament. I mean, oh, please. I mean, it's sentimentality. You wouldn't have thought that would have existed in such a movie as this, but I mean, that ending was sickening. It just made me want to puke.
Hold on. Did you just say, given that this is a sport drama?
Yes.
You just said you wouldn't have thought that sentimentality would exist.
Given the nature of the...
Yet again, Nathaniel, you're demonstrating your utter ignorance of the staples of movie making.
No, but you understand the point I'm trying to make. They were meant to be two kind of hard-nut guys. Okay, one was more of a family one was a military man. It was a very macho, machismo sort of movie. And of course they had to have the sickening sentimentality thrown in.
What about Rocky?
What about Rocky?
Hard men, tough, gristly men. The whole movie's drenched in sentimentality.
Yes, and guess what? It's absolute shit. No coincidence.
Wow. This is the worst movie you recommend. Are you telling me that you think this is worse than Cars 2?
This is worse than Cars 2. Absolutely. You've encapsulated my viewpoint perfectly. This is worse than Cars 2. It's the worst current movie that we've reviewed. It's like an episode of EastEnders, Richard. It's fodder for council estate chavs who fancy themselves a bit.
I will concede one point to you, Nathaniel. There were way too many tattoos in this film, which I didn't approve of at all.
Well, I've got nothing against the tattoos.
Well, in general, you know, those daubed with ink are inevitably short on brain matter. And as you probably are aware, the Lord told us not to sully our skin with emblems.
I wasn't aware, thanks for educating us.
Graven images, Nathaniel. Graven images. You heathen.
I thought you'd be enthusing about the fight scenes, Richard.
The fight scenes were very, very realistic.
They were very good.
We'll refer back to Rocky again. They were nothing like the scenes, you know, the comparable scenes in Rocky with the Hollywood uppercuts and the human impossible ferocity. This actually seemed genuine. You were right in there.
Indeed, it was very realistic. There was a lot of work that went into that. The choreography was excellent, to be applauded for that. But if you're into that, go and watch some boxing.
I do kind of take that point. But, you know, you felt every shattered rib and every fractured eye socket. As a viewer, you felt that, and that takes some skill from a filmmaking point of view. I'm
not going to disagree with you on that one. So it is
Jennifer Morrison,
a claim, but it's very, very limited.
Jennifer Morrison as Tess Conlon was so beautiful, Nathaniel.
Oh, here we go.
She was so beautiful.
It's becoming a common theme, Richard.
As she paraded around in those skimpy little knickers, I felt something awful might happen there and then.
Ellen might be listening.
I'm only flesh and blood, Nathaniel. At least I tried to fight my compulsions, unlike you, with your deviances.
You're absolutely right. I'll stick my cock in anything.
You're a disgrace.
Happy to be one. Can we have a mark out of 10, Richard?
I'm not done yet.
It's another common thing.
I'm not done yet. Will you stop butting in? Nick Nolte, he just can't act, can he?
No, he can't. He's absolutely right.
He can't act for toffee.
The man's a dullard.
He was a real weak link in this movie. And he's meant to be the veteran.
Well, you're absolutely right, but it wasn't hard to be a weak link in this movie. There weren't any strong ones.
Now, I thought, Nathaniel, that the ending was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
A genuine triumph of the human spirit.
You're an absolute joker.
Nathaniel, I actually wept. I haven't cried at the movies since 2002's Die Another Day, the Bond movie.
Laughter, surely.
I wept. Genuine tears of raw human emotion. Maybe you're not familiar with that.
I'm very familiar with that, but I don't get. It doesn't get instigated by shit like this.
I was swept